a weird what's the word? It's like almost contradictory. You think, I need to breathe, and it's not because you need oxygen, it's because you need carbon dioxide. And so when we're doing 30 to 40, we are breathing off carbon dioxide, which will allow us to hold our breath for a crazy amount of time. It's insane. And when you're holding your breath like that, the oxygen is going to start to drop. You're not going to get higher than 99, but you're going to start to drop. And as I said, doing absolutely nothing, your carbon dioxide is going to start to rise. So when the carbon dioxide is too high, your body's going to go, I need to breathe again. But as the oxygen is dropping, your body, this is a stress we're putting on the body. The body goes, oh shit, I'm dying. I don't have any more oxygen. And the only way your body gives oxygen is, well, it goes more red blood cells, not knowing that with what's going on with the gases. So it creates more red blood cells. I'm still not getting any oxygen. Well, it'll start to create more pathways to get the oxygen to your tissue. Well, what the hell's wrong with Christina right now? Why is she not getting any oxygen? More pathways, more red blood cells. Oh, we need to conserve and be smart with the oxygen that we have. And so this stress, we call this hormetic stress. Stress in a short period that can actually help make you stronger. Done for long amounts of time. So if you've heard of people who are sleep apnea, they're choking, gasping for air, their airway closes up because of I think it's the muscles in the back of the throat that they fall and they collapse a little bit, and it causes people to choke for 7 hours at night. And so reducing your oxygen for that amount of time is not safe. That's not healthy. But what we're doing here for a controlled period for a couple minutes is going to make it stronger. Very important for you to know that holding our breath for a long time is pretty cool, but we are never, ever to do this underwater. Like, I know you love to swim and you love to challenge yourself, but never mix the two. You are not to use my practice to help you hold your breath underwater. Reason being is when we're holding our breath like that, there is a slight chance that you could pass out for a tiny bit of time. And this is probably I think it's the body's defense mechanism. If you're not going to breathe, it's going to make you pass out and make your phrenic nerves send a signal to your diaphragm to take a breath. And which is why some divers, I think within 5 years, between about 2015 to 2020, there was about maybe 350 deaths of divers underwater. And what happens is they hold their breath too long, they pass out. That's not where they die. When the body is losing oxygen, it'll send a signal, it'll make your diaphragm flex, it'll go down and pull the airway, pull the space into your lungs to make you take a breath. And when they're underwater and that happens, then the water goes into their lungs and kills them. So it's very important we never mix the breath work with water. We don't mix it with driving, with heavy machinery. I don't want to scare you, but I just want you to know how important it is that I want you to be safe. It's a completely safe practice if you do it safe. And having stated that you can pass out, you need to do it with lying down is best. You can do it seated, but think about it, if you were to pass out backwards, I'm going to hit my head on this table, right? So it's better to do it lying down. And if you really want to get the benefits of the method, if you really want to get the most from this practice, it's important for you to understand the mechanics of breathing. So the main breathing muscle is your diaphragm. And if you curl your fingers, you can reach underneath your rib cage and try to breathe in and out, that there's something moving your fingers, and that's your diaphragm. I'll show you. It's easier to see it. Some videos ready. Here we go. how we work on trains, computers. It's not promoting good breathing. Good breathing, you should be trying to expand your rib cage. Try to take a deep breath through your nose and try to expand your rib cage on the side. Can you feel the lower rib cage moving out? So how we breathe, the shallow breathing into our chest, that's not promoting that expansion. And if you don't work your muscles and stretch, then you become a bit stiff. And we think of the thoracic cage as being a stiff armor, but it's actually quite, it moves. It's meant to flare out. And that flaring out movement is when you're breathing properly into your diaphragm. It moves up and down, and what happens is you've got, your digestive tract, your intestine, and your stomach, and so as it's moving down, it's pushing everything outwards, which causes the belly breathing. And when you breathe properly into your diaphragm is connected to the spine at the back. And when you breathe into your diaphragm, your spine is going, your spinal discs are going to move like this, and that's going to help shoot up some spinal fluid to your brain. Also, through the diaphragm, you've got some really critical veins and tubes going through there. You've got your esophagus, and where it meets the diaphragm, there's a valve. And some people who have a lot of heartburn, the valve isn't working very well. And so by practicing deep breathing through your diaphragm, you can strengthen your valve. You've also got your two main arteries, the cava vena, which is the cava vena is taking the carbon dioxide back into your lungs, whereas your main artery, the aorta, is taking the clean, oxygenated blood down to the body. So you've got lots of different bits cutting right through this. And when we're doing the 30 to 40 deep breaths, if we can try to use a diaphragm and breathe into the belly, into the chest, and out, doing that chest, belly, chest, out, it's actually activating the thoracic pump. The thoracic pump, what happens is when you're activating that, it's helping to squish, to move the blood around through the body, giving your heart a break. Because otherwise your heart's the only one doing all that work. So breathing properly through your diaphragm, you're giving the heart a break. And so I get so caught up and I had no notes, but I said we're going to do 30 to 40 deep breathing. The protocol, after we hold our breath, we're going to start with 45 seconds. If you need to breathe before 45 seconds, please listen to your body. So when we're going to be ready to breathe, we're going to take a deep breath in and hold our breath for 10 to 15 seconds and then let go. And that's one round of the breathing. They recommend doing 3 to 4 rounds because the more rounds you do, the more carbon dioxide you're expelling, and you're going to get to hold your breath longer and longer each time. And as I said, when we're holding our breath and the oxygen is lowering, that's when the body's going into a bit of a fight or flight and panicking and sending more red blood cells. So what I'd like to do now is we're going to practice what it feels like to breathe into our belly versus breathing into the chest. And I'm also going to get you to see what it's like to breathe through your nose versus your mouth, because your nose is actually where you should be breathing into. You've got behind your nose is an organ, and you've got a filtration system, and you've got snot, mucus, which will collect any dust, any pathogens, any particles that don't belong in your lungs. If you're breathing through the mouth, you're sucking all that in there. And also your lungs, the body's 37 degrees Celsius. The air up here is 22 degrees. So the nose is going to help warm up that air before it goes into your lungs. In the same way that it's not too good to drink really cold water, it's better your body's warm, so it filters the air, it humidifies the air, it warms it up. And also when you breathe through the nose, that restricted airflow is actually going to help us breathe into our diaphragm better. So if you want to lie down, we're going to see what it feels like to breathe through the nose, through the mouth, into the chest and into the belly breathing, but we're going to do one at a time. So first, I would like you to try breathing using your mouth. I would like you to try and breathe just into the chest without rising the belly. See how that feels like. You might want to put your hand on your chest and feel that rise and fall. And now I want you to try doing that, but with your nose. Now, I want you to try, we're going to exercise the belly breathing, and we're going to start with the mouth first. Try to only breathe into your belly. Now we're going to try that using our nose. Now, we're going to practice linking the two, and I want you to start belly, chest, out. And we're going to try that using the mouth first. So. Now we can try that using your nose. Great. You can sit back up for me. When we are going to be doing our 30 to 40 deep breaths, I want you to try to focus on your breath and your body. Try not to count the 30 to 40. A lot of people do this. And the reason I'm asking you to not think and just be in your body is that, as I mentioned, when your brain is thinking, it's consuming glucose. I've read that it can be 30 to 60% depending what brain functions are happening. And as I mentioned, if your brain is thinking too much and it's consuming too much glucose, the byproduct is, anyone? Carbon dioxide, thank you. And we are trying to, what are we trying to do with the carbon dioxide through the breathing? We are trying to expel it, lower the levels, yes. So try to just be inside your body and not inside of your head. We're going to practice what that is. It's called interoception. Pretty fancy word for a concept which is quite simple, yes, yet we all have such a hard time doing it. It's bringing your attention inward to your body. So sometimes we're in our head, completely oblivious to our environment around, which happens when you're driving a car for an hour and you get to your destination and goes, wow, I didn't even remember the drive. I was too caught up in my head. Sometimes I'm eating dinner in front of the television and I'm too busy focusing on TV. My meal's gone and I'm like, I didn't even enjoy my food. Sometimes it's really good to just close your eyes, take one breath and one bite and chew it longer than you would normally and try and taste all the beautiful flavors. So that is being a bit more mindful, bringing our awareness inward. So we're going to practice. We're going to start with our attention outward, and then I'm going to bring you inward. So by closing your eyes, we are going to try and hear the furthest distant sound possible. Bring your attention outward and try to hear maybe the waves crashing on the other side of the road, or maybe some cars, or maybe some birds, some dogs. Just try and hear as far away as you can using your superhuman hearing. Now, we're going to practice bringing our attention inward, and a cool little trick to do that. Maybe start by placing your hand on your heart and try and bring your attention to your heartbeat. Feel your heartbeat rather than your hand on the outside. Try to be inward in your body. Then I'm going to ask you to gently put away your hand and see if you can still hear and feel your heartbeat inside of you. Maybe see if you can feel your stomach garbling and digesting your breakfast maybe. Great. So when we're doing our breathing, you may open your eyes. I would like you to really focus on your body, not your head. 10 o'clock, I'm thinking that we are going to jump into our 3 rounds. Sure, of course, I forgot to do housekeeping, but I've got a toilet right here. My room, there's a toilet in there. The lock is a bit hard to use. You might want to lift the tab and turn, but considering it a lock. Yeah, we're a small group, so we'll all know when someone's there. Also, when it comes time for the ice baths, I have a bedroom at the front, a bedroom in the middle. I've got a little laundry room with a sliding door. You're welcome to use any space in my house. My bedroom's here, you're welcome to that as well. Yeah, I'd like to tell you what to expect during the breathing because it's pretty intense, and I don't want you to be scared. They're all going to be perfectly normal sensations. So you might feel tingling in your fingers and in your feet, and that's because as we're expelling the carbon dioxide is a vasodilator. And when we don't have enough carbon dioxide, your blood work is going to shunt and close up, similar to the ice bath. So again, we're getting a cardiovascular system workout. And when your blood work starts to close up, you're getting a reduction of calcium ions in your muscles, which causes excitability and tingling. So don't think you're having a panic attack because you've got tingling in one hand and you're, because I think those are some of the symptoms. If you've got pain and tingles and your face goes, anyways. Tingling is perfectly normal. You might feel lightheadedness, perfectly normal. Some people experience a little bit of ringing in the ears. Some people, especially if you're a newbie to the practice, you might get what we call T-Rex claws. It's the scientific word is tetany. The reduction of carbon dioxide might cause your muscles to go a little bit funny and have T-Rex claws. It's not dangerous and it's temporary, and if it's too strong a sensation, just start breathing normal again and it'll go away. Some people might cry. The practice tends to release stored emotions and negative energies. Some people laugh hysterically. Some people yawn. All those things are fine. Yeah, we'll do the first round will be 45 seconds. Second round, I'll take you to a minute. Third round, we'll do maybe a minute 15, a minute 20. As I mentioned, the first time I did it, I got to a minute 40. It's not about competition. And you probably can get there your first go quite easily, but it's a strong sensation and we want it to be beautiful and gradual. I don't want to scare anyone off. If you choose, I hope you start adopting this into your everyday, and if you do, a nice easy way of doing it is through the Wim Hof Method app, which I'm going to be using to help count our breaths. So you look up Wim Hof Method, you download the app, and the app, press start, it'll count 30 breaths, 30 to 40. Got my speaker working. You can choose to have music in there, you can slow down the pace, make it faster, and what's cool is that when you're done, you can look at your results from, I've got results from 2 years ago, and it's not about competition, but as you do it more and more, you will find that you can hold your breath longer and longer, and it's cool to see your gradual improvement. Thank you. And you might also find some days that you're going backwards. It's perfectly normal. You'll have good days and bad days. Technique also makes a difference. You know, some people, whether they breathe through their nose or through their mouth, if they're lying down, sitting up, where they're at in their heads, if they, you know, where they're at with their health. A bunch of things can impact it, and don't be discouraged. It's like I said, it's not a competition. There's no dogma. It's just a beautiful practice. It gives you a moment to step out of your head into your body and do strengthen your body while you're doing it. I've rolled up some towels. They're just on the side. When we're doing the breath work, I'll get you to put a little towel underneath your neck so that we can keep our passageway nice and straight. If you're breathing like this, your airway's kinked and you're not going to be doing a good job. It's also sometimes good to put a little something underneath your legs, or you might want to raise your legs a little bit so that your pelvis isn't curled outward too much, because the diaphragm is going to be working down here, and we want that nice strong gap. The differential in pressure is what causes the air to go down. So contrary to what we think when we think our lungs, we're imagining two balloons that are getting filled up with air, but that's wrong. That's not true. The lungs are thick and spongy, and it's the differential in pressure that's causing the air to come in the same way that a syringe with medicine, you're pulling out the syringe. Even though you're going anti-gravity, you're still sucking up that liquid because you're causing a differential in pressure from the extra space. So your diaphragm pulls your lungs down. Your diaphragm is intimately connected to the lungs and the heart. One cannot move without the other. So when you're breathing into your belly, your diaphragm goes down and it's pulling your lungs with it, and that differential pressure is causing the air to go in. So now that we've got a deep understanding of how breathing happens, the mechanics, I think we're all prepared. I invite you to grab a little towel. Hopefully I've rolled up enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. If you have brought a towel and you'd like to maybe roll it up and just slightly put it underneath your knees, I've got a couple extra here, but it's not mandatory. But if you do want a second little towel just to help raise your knees when you're doing this, here you go, honey. You're welcome. Like you've got one. There you go. Welcome. Yeah, okay. I want you to follow your own rhythm. If, you know, the app's gonna go, but just, I'm using it just to help count the 30 to 40. You don't necessarily have to follow that. What I want you to do is just concentrate on getting as much air in and a gentle release. If you push too hard, if you're constantly going, you're forcing and you're creating carbon dioxide. We don't want to create carbon dioxide. So make it a fully in, but then a gentle release. Yeah, feeling is understanding. Let's go for a team. Guided breathing bubble, start now, and here we go. Fully in. Fully in, letting it go. Belly, chest, out. Belly, chest, out. Keep a nice rhythm. Nice flow like a wave. In and out. Not holding at the top or bottom. Follow that air as it travels into your body. You're at one with the body. Let go of any stress, any tension. Fully in, letting go. Belly, chest, and out. Beautiful sensations. Feeling perfectly normal. I want you to go fully in and then do a fully out. Now fully in, release and hold. All right, team, fully in. And hold at the top. Hold that in. Hold it in. Hold it in. Hold it. And release. Straight into our next round. Fully in, letting it go. Remember, belly, chest, out. Belly,